Hi, it's Mr. Anderson, and in this podcast, I'm going to talk about polymers. Polymers are large molecules that are made up of smaller molecules called monomers. And so even the word polymers can serve as a good example of a polymer. In other words, I could rearrange the letters in polymers to make Mrs. Polly, or even a spry mole, or even a spine mushroom. And so basically, those letters can be arranged in different ways to make different words. Likewise, monomers can be arranged in different ways to make different polymers. And so the large molecule is a polymer, but those building blocks are called monomers.
What's that, Mr. Anderson?
Monomers can be arranged in different ways to make different polymers. And so the large molecule is a polymer, but those building blocks are called monomers.
The next naturally occurring polymer we will discuss is carbohydrates, or carbs. You know that these two foods are carbohydrates, but did you ever think of them as a polymer? If carbohydrates are polymers, then what are the monomers that come together to make them up?
Just like you've probably heard of the polymers carbohydrates, you've probably heard of the monomers that make them up. You're going to write them here in the "What are monomers they're made of" box. They are glucose, fructose, and galactose. The two food sources that come to mind when we talk about carbohydrates are probably bread and pasta. Your challenge is to go to the internet and find 3 more food sources to write in the carbohydrates food sources box. Next, you're going to research what are the functions of carbohydrates. You probably already know, and here's a clue, just in case you don't. What happens after you eat carbohydrates?
Natural polymer that we need to understand is lipids. Another word for lipids are fats. The monomers that make up lipids are glycerol and fatty acids. Write these in your graphic organizer in the box for monomers. We don't often eat lipids all by themselves, but they're found in many of the foods that we do eat and love. Lipids make our food taste creamy and rich. Think ice cream. Here are some common lipids or lipid-containing foods that we use in cooking. You will now need to research 3 other foods that are sources of lipids. Remember, they don't always have to be bad for you, and you don't have to eat the entire carton. Too many lipids in your body can be unhealthy, but lipids do have a valuable job. Research the role of lipids and write it in your graphic organizer under function, and then have a bowl of ice cream.
The next biological polymer you need to know about are called polypeptides. You may know them as proteins. Anyway, these amazing proteins are made up of monomers called amino acids. I'd like you to write amino acids in the row for what monomers are they made of. When amino acids are strung together, they make a protein. Your first challenge is to discover the functions of proteins in living things through the internet and add them to your graphic organizer under "What are the functions?" The major food sources of proteins are usually animal products. So meat, eggs, and legumes, these are types of products that have proteins in them. There are other food sources besides meat that also contain proteins. Your challenge is to go on the internet and find at least 3 more to add to your graphic organizer here.
The last type of natural polymer we're going to explore are nucleic acids. The monomers of nucleic acids are called nucleotides. There are 4 types of nucleotides, which we will explore in the near future, but for right now, you're just going to write the word nucleotides in the box that says what are the monomers they are made of. I'm so hungry. I can't wait to eat this polymer. Wait a second. I think I just lost my appetite. Unlike carbohydrates, proteins, and lipids, nucleic acid do not have a food source associated with them. However, in your food sources box on your graphic organizer, you need to write the following. Found in all cells, but we make our own. That's it. So, just like all living things are made up of cells, nucleic acid can also be found in all living things. From here, you're going to use the internet to discover the function of nucleic acids and write them in the What are the functions box under the nucleic acids column. And you're going to also research an image of this polymer and draw it in the What does it look like box. Here's a hint. It's what I'm not about to eat.